Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to episode of 18 of Spreading the News. My name is Chase. I am your host, and we are joined by Bryan.
What's up, everybody? How are we doing?
And Danny is also here today as he's getting his mic ready. I don't know what this guy's doing.
I completely forgot. It was over there. I didn't plug it in. What's up?
Let's start off with Bryan. Bryan, how's your day going, guy?
Pretty good. Just got back from the dentist. Everything's all clear. I think. Kind of a weird time in the middle of the day. We were supposed to be recording this before the pod, but I was supposed to be done with the pod before that appointment today. But Danny, the human rain delay, has just bled this into my whole day.
I mean, one simple phone call and I'm here.
Danny set his alarm this morning for 10 a.m. and he woke up at almost noon.
It was 11:40.
So
One simple phone call. I would have been.
We were set to record. We were set to record for this morning, so now here we are. The episode should be out by now.
You didn't even try. You
can hear the anger in Chase's voice right now.
So
you didn't even try. Bryan, we could have done it yesterday too. We were trying to do it last night. Where were you?
Please, dude.
Okay, well.
It was my sister's birthday, if I have you know.
Happy birthday to your sister.
Happy birthday to Kyle.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
It's like 11 o'clock. What were we doing?
Well, we are sitting here recording right now at 1:27 p.m., so you can thank Danny for that.
And Bryan.
We got an interesting episode as always. We're going to start off with the Yankee of the week. And then we'll jump into a couple other things that we want to touch upon. But first, let's start off with that. So I feel like, does Bryan usually start us off with the Yankee of the week?
We kind of mix it up. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
So, okay, who wants to take charge here?
I think mine's pretty obvious. Let's just get out of the way here.
Okay, you take charge.
All right. So we're back with the Yankee of the week this week. After last week, we did something a little different. And we gave out some awards, and my Yankee of the week is a guy who won the award that I gave out last week, which was MVP the first half. He's continued his MVP ways right out of the break, and that's obviously Aaron Judge once again. I mean, these numbers from this week are actually just stupid. Like, they are so dumb. I'm going to read them real quick. His last 7 games, he's hitting .560 with an on-base percentage of .645, and he's slugging .1360. That's good for an OPS over 2,000, which is, I don't know if I've ever seen anything like that before. And he's hit six home runs and driven in 15 this week. So, I mean, the three of us were worried about Judge coming out like slow out of the break, which we've seen him do in the past. But, I mean, this week has been anything but that. I mean, he's looked like the MVP candidate that he is. All I could say is that he's carried us through this week, really, with the 3 wins we had, where you could all put on Judge, and let's just keep it going for him.
Yeah, Judge is continuing his MVP campaign, fresh out of the All-Star break. They went into that Astros series. I think he only had 1 hit, which was the home run, but he really picked it up against Baltimore. So,
As he does.
Just continuing that MVP campaign, and it really sucks that we talked about it a little bit last week that Ohtani is pretty much like right now the favorite for the MVP award. But if Ohtani was not in the American League, Judge would probably be a shoo-in for the MVP award. So
I don't know if I'm
still being
Ohtani the favorite right now.
Yeah, based on betting odds, at least he is the favorite. Ohtani.
Yeah. I mean, Judge's season numbers right now after this week is 294, 376, and over 1,000 OPS, and then he's got 37 homers, 81 RBIs, also playing Gold Glove caliber defense. I mean, I don't know.
It's insane. But, since the All-Star break, he's hitting 474. He has a .9 WAR in these 5 games. This tweet is from Gabe, Playoff Tanaka. He has a .9 WAR in these 5 games, which is absolutely unreal. And he just, again, like you said, continues his MVP ways. I'm hoping Ohtani gets traded to the National League. You know, they're shopping offers for him. If Ohtani gets traded to the National League, Judge is in the clear for MVP. Win a lot of money for that. And he is just, and like StatCast, their barrels. I just saw the stat today. For barrels, they calculate the barrels with like advanced whatever, how many barrels you hit. Judge has 66 barrels. The second highest is Kyle Schwarber with 48. And Kyle Schwarber is as close to the number 26 guy on that list as he is to Judge at number 1. So it just shows how unreal Aaron Judge has been this season. And Ohtani is 4th on that list, of course. But
is Schwarber still trailing Judge in the home run race?
He's trailing him by 7.
I know, but is he the next one up?
Oh, yeah.
So what? Judge has 37?
Yeah.
So Schwarber has 30.
Unless he hit one last night, but I don't think so.
Pretty interesting to see the home run race, because for a little bit Judge like lost his home run stride before the All-Star break, and now it's back. So hopefully he's on his way to 60. I think he's on pace right now for 62 at the time of recording this. So
It's good. That was a good test for Judge. I think, coming right out of the break, like how would he be after struggling a little bit right before it? And after this ridiculous week, my worries are over.
Yeah.
I never had worries.
Like Chase said, he only did have one hit in the Astros doubleheader, but it was a 3-run bomb, and then he carried that momentum, and that was in his last at bat of that doubleheader too. So he carried that over into Baltimore, and we know he always crushes Baltimore. So he's good. He's back. He's out of the slump. Fuck a slump for Judge. He doesn't need a slump.
It's gonna happen. I mean, I was never
Always
worried about
happen.
it.
Yeah, it's gonna happen. And the fact that even after the slump he had for 2 weeks, he's still hitting 294. Like right now, that's actually insane. His numbers on the season, like that's MVP numbers. But again, like last year, Vlad had a crazy year, but Shohei won it because he does both. It's hard to compete with a guy that does both, but we'll see.
Angels hot take: Angels should trade Ohtani. They should.
They would get a lot out of it.
They should trade Ohtani. I know this is not an Angels podcast, but they should trade Ohtani because they suck. And if they're gonna pay the ransom to Ohtani, and they already have paid Trout, then how much more room for growth is there? How much more room for growth is there on that roster when they're already this bad?
They have two of the best players in baseball and still can't win. So that just shows you need everything around those guys to be solid, and you could get that for Ohtani, but.
Man, and then that it just goes back to Trout being it for them. And Trout alone in a clubhouse full of losers.
And obviously they're not going to trade Trout, so like they should just trade Ohtani. And that's just my hot take opinion. I don't know if you guys agree, but
I mean, they would get a haul. They would get a massive, massive return for it. I mean, if a team is willing to pay it. Go ahead. Who returns more, Soto or Ohtani?
I was just thinking about that.
Ohtani.
I still think I don't know.
You don't think so?
I think Soto's youth plays a big role. I don't know.
How old is Ohtani? Like 29?
Not that young. He's not Soto young.
I don't know how to spell Ohtani.
What?
Age.
Shohei, I don't know how to spell. He's 28. He's 28. That's on the young side.
Yeah.
For baseball, that's on the young side. Football, that's you're retiring in 2 years.
I mean, I'm just saying in comparison to Soto, though. I don't know. I still think Soto's worth more, but at the end of the day, I don't think Ohtani's getting traded anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we don't think Soto's getting traded either. But
do you guys think Soto gets traded?
You never know. I don't know.
Traded.
It is growing. It is growing that the narrative that he probably will. Originally, it was just like a long shot, but now it's seemingly like he will. And I'm seeing the Padres and the Cardinals are front runners for him now.
Cardinals are a very interesting suitor.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of good prospects there.
Imagine Goldie, Arenado, and
that would be
Juan Soto.
They're already a good team.
Stupid. So. But also, you can say the same thing about the Yankees. I mean, imagine Judge.
I know, but Chase, I know we talked about it in our group chat or whatever. Michael King injury might have taken them out of the Juan Soto race. If you think, I mean, I don't think it should have, but it could have, because maybe now they're looking for an extra pitcher.
Yeah. Well, since you brought him up, I'll just say Michael King is my Yankee of the week. So, do I think it took the Yankees out of the Soto sweepstakes? I don't necessarily think it took them out, but I think it's going to make it a lot more difficult to make a Soto trade, because now you need more arms. I mean, they already needed an arm, in my opinion, as it was. So now they definitely need another. God bless you, Danny.
Bless you.
But really quick. So for those who don't know, obviously everybody knows by now, but Michael King has a fracture in his right elbow, so he's out for the year. They don't know. They said he'll probably be ready for spring training, but Tommy John surgery is not off the table at this moment. So they're still waiting a little bit more on that, as far as I know. I don't know if you guys saw any more new reports, but I mean, it's a somber day. It was a somber game because the Yankees won that game and it was a good win, but obviously it doesn't feel like a win because your best, arguably your best reliever. No, well, Clay Holmes is your best reliever, but your second best reliever goes down with the season-ending injury, and all he's done is step up this year. And I'm just quickly pulling up his stats on the year. He had a 2.29 ERA in 51 innings pitched with 66 strikeouts and a 1 on the dot whip, so an even 1. And he was pretty much also, I was looking at his baseball savant. He's literally in the red for everything. He's in the 91st percentile average exit velocity, 88th percentile xWOBA, 84th percentile of the fastball velocity, 94th percentile K percentage. So, I mean, he really was having a career year, and it sucks because we've been waiting for King to kind of do this for a few years now. And like, we know the story about how Corey Kluber helped him last year, and he was throwing frisbees this year. And we would always talk about, like, I remember tweeting one night, I think it was against the Reds, and I was like, Michael King, like, what do we do to deserve you? And now here we are, and he's out for the year, and that's just a ginormous blow to the bullpen. Go ahead, Danny.
It is terrible. I mean, you say that we've been waiting for King to do this for years. Like, no, we haven't. Nobody could have expected this from King. He has just been that dominant where nobody expected this. Like, he has actually saved us games. He's saved games for us. Like, maybe not in the ninth inning, but he's come in with runners on and gotten out of it. He's allowed runners on and still gets out of it somehow. It just seems like every time he's in, it's going to the next inning, the same score it was. I personally never thought we were ever going to see that from King. I mean, he came up as a starter and he struggled a little bit, but I never thought he would be this dominant. I don't think anybody really could have. And just, it was a very sad sight. Like, I knew right away something was, you could tell by watching, like, he threw the curveball down in the dirt, and right away he pointed to his elbow, like called to the dugout to come get him. And you see, like, you read the lips of the trainer, like, and he said his elbow just popped, like, whatever. And that, you're just like, shit. Yeah, the Yankees had a great win that night. But the reports from the clubhouse was that it was silent. It was a very somber, silent feeling, because even though they won, they know what they just lost in Michael King. And it is cool to see that the team reacts like that to one of their players, but it sucks to see him go. And it's going to be tough. Now I think we do need an arm. We tried Shane Green out. He didn't work, and we DFA'd him right away. But interesting. The only teammate of Derek Jeter to be on the active Yankees, Shane Green.
I don't know if you had anything to add, Brian, but I wanted to say that almost makes me now want to choose Loizaga as my Yankee of the week to actually highlight for next week, because Loizaga, or actually not even next week, the rest of the season, but Loizaga, he's got to be the guy that's got to step up now. Like, if he doesn't step up and they don't acquire anyone, this bullpen is absolutely finished, because we know Chapman is not Aroldis Chapman anymore.
He's been done for years.
Yeah. So we know that.
He's actually been the worst reliever in baseball for the past year.
And like Clay the other night, when he came in, he was asked to get, 4 or 5 outs. So like, if they're going to keep doing that, plus using him in the closer role and using him every single night, Clay is pretty much is bound to regress, because he's being used so much. It's going to be overused, and that's going to be a big problem. So Loizaga's got to step up. All the guys have to step up, but my eyes are on Loizaga specifically.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we know we love Loizaga here, but he hasn't been good this year as he was last year, so he does need to step up. We did just get Ron Marinaccio back, and right before his injury, he started to look really, really, really good. He has a 2.33 ERA on the season in 17 games, 19 innings pitched. But maybe he could continue being what he was again. Like, I know even when Marinaccio was pitching good, it still felt like when he was in the game, I had no faith in him. It's like how you kind of said about Nestor. You're just waiting for the wheels to come off. You're just waiting for him to do something bad. But before that injury, he didn't. Like, he got sent down in the beginning of the season, came back up, and was dominant. Really, he was dominant. It's weird to say that about Ron Marinaccio, but he really was really good. So hopefully he could be really good for us now, because we need bullpen arms. We need it.
So let me ask you guys this then. Would you rather them acquire 2 bullpen arms, say two bullpen arms that can help us, or would you rather them get Luis Castillo and move Severino to the bullpen when he's healthy?
Severino.
That's interesting. I am going to say Castillo, I think, because I don't know. It's really close. Like, that's a good question. I don't really know if I see them acquiring two bullpen arms, to be honest. I was going to say, like, your trade last week with David Robertson and Ian Happ now looks even better than it was last week. I mean, that would be huge. Like, that would be a really good trade for the Yankees. But I mean, we just have seen in the playoffs the starting pitching not being able to hold up, and Luis Castillo has been good for years. He's been my deadline target for like over a year now. I wanted him last year. I think he could really solve a lot of the Yankees issues. The whole King issue is just like heartbreaking for him and the team. I mean, it leaves such a hole like in that bullpen. He was the most reliable guy outside of Clay. Maybe even more reliable than Clay at sometimes. Like, you could put him in any situation and he was figured out. He'd get in and out of jams. He was coming in. It just, my heart really, it hurts for him. I mean, it's taken him so long to figure it out. And this year he literally was one of the best relievers in baseball. We all think he should have been an all-star. And to see it come crashing down like that, and now we're not going to see him for the rest of the year, is really, it's a terrible position for the Yankees to be in. And obviously you feel terrible for the guy himself.
Yeah, I mean, two things about the relievers at the deadline thing. We've seen Cashman go out in the past and not spend a lot for a reliever. So he could go out and get a low-key good reliever for cheap, and we could still have the pieces to trade for a Castillo, trade for Happ, whatever we want to do, because Cashman is so good at finding those lower-level relievers that turn out to be studs. But like you said, the Ian Happ, David Robertson, we have emerged as serious contenders for Andrew Benintendi now, as the reports on Twitter say. What about Scott Barlow? Huh?
Yeah, he's been good.
Why don't we check up on that? See if we can get both of them in a deal, because Barlow is probably better than Robinson. I mean, he's younger. He has a 1.97 ERA right now, Scott Barlow, and
very
Benintendi.
Interesting, actually.
What?
That could be very interesting, actually. I didn't even think about that.
And Benintendi, like, he has been the guy that has been most talked about to the Yankees, like even over Ian Happ. Like, I haven't really seen much about Ian Happ. So if we're gonna go out and get Benintendi, why not? Why not ask if they could throw Barlow in there? I mean, they're not good. You know, they're trying to get as much as they can. And Barlow would be really good. He's 29. He is dominant this year. And I don't know. It's just interesting. Maybe we could work something out with that.
It makes me wonder what's really going to happen at the deadline, because there are so many different avenues that they can take now. Like, they can take the Soto route,
and there's a bullpen guy too. Put Patrick Corbin in the bullpen.
Use Corbin out of the bullpen. I mean, even if they I
don't want to use Corbin out of the bullpen.
There's rumors they might even take on Strasburg. Like, I don't know how that would work, but I've seen some things about that. Like, so if they could take the Soto route, they could, like you said, Danny, with Benintendi. They can go Ian Happ. They can go Castillo. And like you said, like I've been saying, I'm in agreement with you, Danny. Like, I've been saying all year that Cashman is really good at finding these low-level reliever guys. We've seen it in like literally every year he does it. I feel like he usually gets one guy that's a really impactful player for us. Like, we saw it last year when we traded Mike Talkman for Wandy, and last year Wandy was like one of the best guys out of our pen. We saw it with Clay Holmes. Saw it with Tommy Kahnle a couple years ago, and that Todd Frazier and David Robertson trade when they were the main pieces of that trade. So I'm pretty confident that they can find an arm that will be effective for us. I'm just very curious to see which route they're going to take, because I really don't know.
And we're all on the side now of they will do something. Like, every year it's kind of like, will they, won't they? Like, I don't know. Sometimes they kind of flop at the deadline, but this year I think they will do something. I think they know they need to do something, especially after the Astros games. I think they know there's work to do on this team, even though this team is really good. Obviously, this is no hurt in getting better, because come the playoffs, it's a different animal, and you're going to be facing a lot better teams, a lot of good teams, and everybody's on their A game in the playoffs. So let's just beef up our roster a little bit.
And also, another thing we're forgetting about the trade deadline coming up, gotta wonder what's going to happen with Gallo, what they can get for Gallo. Because apparently from the rumors that I've seen on Twitter, he actually has a market right now, like a pretty competitive market. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know how. I don't know what team would want to take a chance on him. But
Adam Duvall is out for the year now, and I saw I saw someone say on Twitter that the Braves should now look at Gallo because Adam Duvall is basically their Adam Gallo. He is basically the same guy that sucks.
Well,
just strikes out.
I would honestly be pretty upset if Gallo went to the Braves and he tore it up. I said last week.
I wouldn't.
I'd
root for him.
I said last week I would be happy for him if he found a home and he was doing well. But if he went to Atlanta and he was tearing it up and being like a real World Series piece for them, that would really be really hard to watch because they are contenders.
I want him to do good.
They find guys like that too. That was like, Jock and Eddie Rosario and Soler last year. Like those guys, they just find these random outfielders and they just go in and compete for them.
And they are contenders. So,
but I honestly,
obviously, they're the hottest team in baseball right now.
Imagine in a hypothetical world, the Yankees go to Atlanta in a World Series game, and then Joey Gallo hits like a walk-off home run on us. It would just be so Yankees.
No, Matt Blake and the staff know him too well. Just throw those fastballs at his letters. No chance.
Yeah, and the Orioles were abusing that, by the way.
Every team abuses it. It's no secret.
No, dude, the Orioles.
It was because like some teams, I'm watching them pitch to Gallo, and there are some like he'll foul off the low slider, the low changeup, or whatever, and I'm like, why are they still throwing that pitch? But the Orioles, it was actually like
like high fastball every. It was like after his home run on what was that? What Friday. Day of the week was that? Friday.
Yeah.
After his home run on Friday, it was like every next at bat he had was high fastball, high fastball, high fastball.
There's no secrets in the big leagues like that. Everyone knows.
Yeah. Maben in the booth too. After the Gallo home run day, he's like, yeah, that was really good for Gallo. Hopefully he can continue to stay hot for this team. Like, what? He hit one home run. What are you saying?
It's amazing to me too because if you know that a high fastball is coming, how do you not just sit high fastball? Like, I mean, you guys would know better than me because you guys played baseball like your whole lives. But
I mean, that's what I said. Like, it's hard to find a guy that just can't hit a single pitch that he knows is coming. Like, you say it's the uppercut swing or whatever, but you could get your bat head up there if you know it's coming. You could get the bat up there.
A lot of guys in the big leagues, like we've heard Paul O'Neill say that he wasn't, but he knew a lot of guys that were guess hitters, and they're up there trying to figure out what pitch is coming every time. With Gallo, it's not even a guess. He knows what they're going to throw him, and he still has no shot.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Because it's like, even if they're throwing that low changeup, whatever, I would sell out for that high fastball because they're throwing that to you 70% of the time. Like, you could look at the low changeup if you see that instead and just look at it for a strike, whatever. But I'd rather see him try to adjust to the high fastball. But I don't know.
Who knows? Maybe they'll send Gallo off for a reliever. Imagine that.
Yeah.
Send him off for a reliever, and the reliever becomes a big-time guy for us. That'd be awesome.
Joe Gallo for Scott Barlow and Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah. What a dream.
I like what you said before, Danny, about you think that they're going to make a move now this year. And I think we can all agree, like in the past, I don't know if they knew or we knew that the team was good enough to win the World Series. So like if they were like not sure if they want to make a move or not, but like this year, I think it's pretty clear. Like they have everything to do it. Like they need to go out and make a move. If it's not this year, it's never. Like they have to know they got to do something.
It is now or never.
Now or never. Yeah.
It's just what move they can make.
We said after the loss last year that their window was kind of closing and almost closed. I mean, still the same thing. I mean, they're not a young team. Chase, I think you said that last week. They're not a young team.
They're potential. They might lose their best player.
They might lose their best player. Like it is now. Why not win now? Why not? Just go out, sell the farm if you have to. I don't care. I don't think anybody will have a problem with you selling the farm to win this year, to win now. And that'll set us up for next year, the year after. And we'll be contenders for. And I always say the Yankees will always be contenders. They'll never be out of it. They'll never be bad. Like even the years that we consider them bad, they still had an over 5. They never had a below 500 record.
I mean, they're always in the wild card mix. So
yeah, the Yankees will never be bad per se, but this is their year. They're the best team in baseball. I know the Dodgers caught up to them record wise, but they're one of the best teams in baseball. Win now. Win.
I know you guys said that they might lose their best player. I mean, they might lose a perennial MVP candidate. Like, that's how big this is. Like, it's not just their best player. Perennial MVP candidate.
We had a big argument, Chase, with you. We kind of argued in the group chat, me, you, Brian, about what to do with like the moves to make. You were kind of.
Well, you were saying let's save it for the pod. So let's hear it.
How did this? You didn't want Soto anymore.
Chase is like anti-Juan Soto now.
No.
That's what it was. No, Chase was anti-Juan Soto.
I am not anti-Juan Soto at all. At all. I would love to have Juan Soto on the team, but what I was saying was the Yankees are an older team. Like their average age is probably like 31 years old. Think about it, right?
So Soto.
He's 23, but hang on. Ready? So say they trade Soto, right? It's going to cost you, or they're going to trade for Soto. It's going to cost you everything, right? So you're giving up Volpe, you're giving up Dominguez, you're giving up Peraza, you're giving up Ken Waldachuk, you're giving up Austin Wells. You're probably going to have to give up Glaber too, right? Which you weren't in agreement with, Danny. But hang on, let me just finish my point. So they're trading all those guys for a 23-year-old that's going to be playing, say, and then if they hold on to him in 3 years with like a 37-year-old Stanton, 30 like 7-year-old Cole, all in their final years, Judge will be gone. It's going to be all old guys, and they're going to have all big money committed to 3 guys between Cole, Stanton, and Soto. So then they're not going to have any room to go out and make moves for other players that can fill the need for those positions. So your lineup's going to be, it's literally going to be DJ, it's going to be Soto, it's going to be Stanton, and it's going to be Hicks. Like, that's not a good thing to have.
Cole and Stanton,
but
Cole and Stanton respectively are 31 and 32 year olds. But let's say in these 3 years we win 2 to 3 World Series. Is that worth it?
Yeah,
like
it's worth it. No, it is worth it. And I said
even,
it was worth
even
it.
if we win 1 World Series, it's like
it is worth it. But I don't know if Soto is the move that's going to make you an automatic World Series shoo-in.
Well, there's really no move that can make you an automatic World Series team. That's we're.
It's like, different in the playoff. Like that's what it like. The
one thing that I love
worries me about the playoffs every year, the Nationals, the Braves, like they weren't the best team in the league going into the playoffs, but they caught their stride at the right time and they won. Like that's what happens in baseball. Anything could happen. But if you can help yourself out by bolstering your team as much as you can, then especially with the best hitter one of the best hitters in the league at 23 years old.
One thing I love about the Yankees potentially acquiring Soto is he knows how to hit in the playoffs, which most of the Yankees lineup doesn't know how to do. And he knows how to, like, what the Yankees need is help to beat the Astros, which we'll go into in a little bit. But what they need is help to hit the Astros pitching because they literally can't do it. So I think Soto would be huge for that, but it all remains to be seen. So,
and it was just like, what if Judge walks anyway? That's what me and Brett, like, what if Judge walks anyway? Then what? Then what's your outfield? Would you rather have Soto still in your outfield or have nobody in your outfield?
Well, of course, but I'm all for letting Judge walk and extending Soto. I'm all for that.
And if we were to trade for Soto, one of the two will happen. The New York Yankees will not allow both Soto and Judge to walk and not extend either one of them. It will be, if they trade for Soto, it will be Judge extension, Soto walk in 3 years, or vice versa. Or they could be the Yankees and pay both of them and still build the team around that. Because again, 3 years is enough to build a farm.
I'm also afraid that Judge, I know he might not be this type of personality in terms of with the media, but I'm afraid of behind the scenes, it can turn into like a him or me type of thing and create a rift.
Yeah.
No offense, but then it's him.
Yeah, that's on. Yeah, it's.
Which would not bode well in a World Series run at all.
No, my grandpa would hate that. He does not like Soto at all. He does not like Soto at all. Because he thinks he's an asshole.
Love it.
All the boomers, dude. All the boomers are mad. He turned down the $440 million. That's what it is.
And yeah, doesn't like the Soto shuffle.
Well, I mean, regardless, I don't think the Yankees will trade for Soto anyways. So it's not like this conversation is going to matter in a week's time. I do actually think they're going to get Castillo though. I do think that's going to happen. But anyways, our next Yankee of the week. Who's up? Is it you, Danny?
Yeah. Well, we kind of said before this, we wanted a quick Yankee of the week. That kind of went.
Yeah.
A Michael King talk turned into that whole thing. But anyway, we miss you, King. My Yankee of the week is DJ LeMahieu. This guy is back. DJ is back to being the guy that won the batting title. He struggled a bit in the beginning of the year. Like, he got off to a little bit of a hot start, then struggled, and we were like, oh, is this DJ? Is he not good? Kind of like he wasn't good last year. But now he's got his average all the way up to 280, 283. He's got his OPS above 800 at 801. The last 7 games, he's hitting 417 with a 548 on base, 625 slugging. So that's really good. His last 15 games, he's hitting 357, 478 on base, and a 446 slugging. Last 30 games, he's hitting 343, 485, 457. So DJ LeMahieu is that guy at the top of our lineup. Pencil him in. He's there. Like, we're not experimenting with him batting 5th anymore, wherever else we had him in the lineup. He is our leadoff guy. He gets hits. This week, he had a hit in every single game we played since the All-Star break. He had a hit in all 5. And even the one where he got one at bat and he came in as a pinch hitter late in the game, he got a hit in that at bat. Like, he's just back to being that guy. He's driving the ball the other way. He's looking great. He's not rolling over pitches as much as he was like when in his bad stretch, because that's really the tell for DJ. If he's not playing well, it's when he's rolling over on pitches. He's pitches that we're used to seeing him drive into right field. He's rolling over for a ground out to the third baseman. That's the telling sign for DJ, and there hasn't been a lot of that recently over the last month, really. Like I just said, his last 30 games, he's hitting over 300 at 343, and not just over 300. He's been way over 300. So DJ is back, and it's great to see because he is such a big part of this lineup, and he is such a big part of a reason we will win the World Series this year. We need him to be good at the top of the lineup, set the table for Judge, Stanton, Carpy, the rest of the big guys, and Rizzo, the rest of the big guys, and of course Joe Gallo. But
and you just talked about his offense. I mean, he's played
and on defense
like 3 positions at well above average level. This might be the best I've seen him defensively since he's been here. I mean, the guy's unreal. Like, especially at third, like he makes every play and it makes him look easy. He's got the 5th highest WAR in the American League. I mean, Judge is number 1, 5.1, followed by Ohtani, Yordan Alvarez, Devers, and then DJ's right there, 3.9 WAR. And, that's just all-encompassing stat that includes his offense and defense. And that's, people overlook defense these days. And, like, that's what I've seen from DJ. I mean, we know the kind of hitter DJ is. He's had to find it again, and he did find it. But, I mean, this defense has, like, been unreal. And that's, like Danny said, a big reason why the Yankees are where they are.
Yeah, and the defense, I mean, the offense was a struggle. The defense has been good all season. But the thing we talked about, I remember, I think Sure was on the podcast. We talked in the beginning of the season about DJ at first base and how he's a liability at first base. He's not anymore. He's been scooping balls in the dirt like he's Anthony Rizzo. It really doesn't matter where you put him. At first base, he said himself, he worked on a lot of footwork. He knew he wasn't good at the scoops. He knew he wasn't that good of a first baseman. But this year, IKF is spiking him, and DJ's making the play too. So not only does IKF have Rizzo helping him out, he has DJ now too. And it is awesome to see that because it allows the Yankees to do so much else with the lineup when he could play all the 3 different positions. It allows us to get Donaldson in if we want the home run potential. It allows us to get Carpenter in if we want him. It allows us to get Torres in every day. Like him being able to play all those different positions at a high level, not only playing there, but playing at a high level, just opens up the rest of the team as well.
Well, Danny, you mentioned IKF for a second. Just wanted to say quick that IKF is actually on fire right now, but that's a question for a topic for a different day. So shout out IKF, but you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head with DJ. So I'll just keep this short and simple, but I'm always talking about how these guys in our lineup are X factors. And I always say Glaber's an X factor. I say Rizzo is a catalyst when he's on fire. Obviously Judge is Judge, but when DJ is our leadoff guy and he's on fire, like he was in 2018, 2019, and 2020, when he was the MVP candidate that he was. He's not that anymore. Obviously he's not an MVP candidate anymore, but he's getting back to that kind of hitting rhythm. And obviously, Brian, you covered the defense, and when he's on that role that he's on, he is another catalyst for the lineup. So it's really big to have him back to being DJ LeMahieu, because when he gets on base, say to lead off the game, that brings up Judge, and then Judge can hit you a 2-run shot and you're already up 2-0, which is obviously huge in the playoffs because you go up quick. That's huge. So good to have DJ back, because when he's not hitting, it almost feels like he's a liability because of how good he can be. So it's good to have DJ back for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you did say you brought up Isaiah kind of Fleffa. I saw this funny stat that I was going to try to sneak into here eventually on Twitter for Nick Nielsen. His 12-game hitting streak that IKF's on. You think 12-game hitting streak? That's awesome, right? Here is his numbers through that. He is 13 for 46 in that 12-game hitting streak, hitting 295. He has a 668 OPS. He has an 88 weighted runs created plus, which is 100 is the league average. So he's below league average. He has 3 extra base hits, only 3, a 0% walk rate, 13% strikeout rate, and only 1 multi-hit games. So really, it's one of the worst 12-game hitting streaks you will really ever see. And then he even put out a reference for Gallo in the same span of that 12-game hitting streak. Gallo is 3 for 29 with a 651 OPS and 89 weighted runs created plus, 17% walk rate. So really, who's more valuable in that? Gallo is higher in the weighted ones, created plus. His OPS is only slightly lower, which is bizarre. He only has 3 hits compared to IKF's 13. And he's getting on base more. He walks more. So who's more valuable? It's really, you say IKF's on fire because he's on a hitting streak, but how good is that hitting streak really?
It's weird. I mean, we've talked about him so much. We know that's what he is. Like, he's going to hit singles every so
Ground ball
often
singles.
and do literally nothing else. And it's just like, I
He's
don't
just
know.
gotten lucky the past 12 games that those ground balls have found holes. Like, that's what he needs his ground balls to find holes.
Yeah,
He did tie the game late in the 9th inning of the Astros game. That was hype, but
that's why we argue against batting average sometimes. I mean, I don't know. We all know, like, I'm not the biggest fan of IKF. I mean, this hitting streak has been good for the Yankees. He's come up big, but like,
I mean, you called him your least favorite Yankee last week, so
he
least favorite
is.
Yankee ever. So
Not
not the biggest fan is a little bit of an understatement there.
Oh, of course. I know. He's just I mean, like, this is his best stretch of the year, and Danny just read off the numbers. I mean, those aren't good. I mean, I don't know how. I know people talk about the eye test versus the numbers. I mean, at his core, he's just not a modern, like, he's not really a modern baseball player. He doesn't do the things that they look for guys to do now, which is, I guess, okay, but I just don't see the value in him really. I mean, I owed him a little bit of an apology this past stretch. I mean, he's been okay, but he still hasn't been like good.
this 0 walks is just absolutely nuts. Like we always say, he swings at everything. He actually worked to count to 3-2 the other day and swung at strike 3 in the other batter's box. Like,
that was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that yesterday?
Yeah,
I was
it
actually sitting on the
yesterday.
couch. I was sitting on the couch watching the game, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy's actually gonna walk! I can't wait to talk about this tomorrow and spread the news. He's actually gonna walk." And he swings
the
at a
pitch
pitch
was in the
other
other
batter's box.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, it was so funny.
And let's not to mention, we should start like a new segment or something. We like every day on Twitter, like, does Isaiah Conner-Fleff have a home run yet? Like, no, like every day. I mean, he still has 0.
I saw a clip of him in Texas when he just absolutely ripped a ball against Houston. It was like his last home run that he hit, I think. And it was an absolute behemoth of a home run, like over the train tracks in Houston. So I don't know I don't know where that guy is, but
Dude, I mean,
the furthest ball I've seen him hit, it was in Minnesota. I still remember it because I was like, wow, that's the furthest ball I ever seen IKF hit. It was right center field, and it didn't even make it to the warning track. It was like 2 steps in front of the warning track. That was the furthest baseball I've ever seen IKF hit.
he has not homered since this podcast has been alive.
yeah, that's mind-boggling.
Even in spring training, he got a couple doubles in spring training.
And
but
you know who has homered since the podcast has been alive?
Aaron Judge.
Can you guys guess?
Aaron Judge.
Well, yes, but no.
Tyler Wade.
I'm trying to figure out where he's
Andrew
going.
Velasquez.
I don't know.
Come on, Brian.
Dude, there's so many people that have hit.
I think he's gonna talk. I think it's gonna be an Astro.
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Gary Sanchez.
Oh,
Yeah, he was traded for Gary Sanchez. The weekly mention. I had
Urshela has also hit a home run since.
everyone in the league has. We get to every guy.
I think. Is he the? No, he can't be the only shortstop with no home runs, right?
The only shortstop he might be. If anyone wants to check, I know Cesar Hernandez didn't have one for a long time.
You guys hear that thunder outside my house?
I hear it here.
It's loud. Do you hear it coming through the mic?
No.
Wow. Anyways, I just heard
Scratch it right
that.
now.
I heard that.
That's me.
Yeah, that's loud. Do you hear it, Danny?
Alcides Escobar has 0 home runs,
Okay.
but he's only played 36 games.
That doesn't count. You need
Isaiah
many-
Kiner-Falefa
how many
is
at
the
bats?
only shortstop to not have a home run with more than 36 games. Who has played more than 36 games? Because Alcides Escobar is the closest to him in games played, and only at 36 with 0 home runs. Everybody else has the highest. Other than that is 15. Everybody else has 16 games or lower with 0 home runs that play for shortstop.
That's insane. That's absolutely wild. So here's another thing, though. I was thinking about it. So if the Yankees end up due trading for Juan Soto, right, and they give up all their shortstop depth, then what happens next year? Do they give IKF another year?
You figure it out at that
You
point.
figure it out. You do figure it out. And again, you could go out and get like another
Andrelton
shortstop
Simmons,
if you want.
finally.
Yeah, Andrelton Simmons, the guy we would have. It's so crazy to say that because a guy we would have been so angry if the Yankees got. I remember our texts were like, if the Yankees fucking get Andrelton Simmons, I swear to God. But now we'll take it because at least he's going to make the plays on defense. And we know he's not going to hit, but whatever. But
I think I
you
saw.
figured out. And Trey Sweeney won't be a part of that deal. We still have Trey Sweeney for the future. I know that he projects more as a third baseman, but who knows?
I think I saw that. Yeah. Trey Turner is a free agent after this year. He would
Yeah.
be wow, that was loud too. Trey Turner would be a perfect fit for this lineup. Obviously, it would probably be hard to pry him from the Dodgers, but
Not even, but like you said, all the if we pay Judge, if we trade for Soto,
right? I mean, yeah.
If we pay Judge, are we going to pay another?
No, it wouldn't happen. But I'm just saying hypothetically.
There are going to be big name shortstops. We assume Correa will be back on the market. We don't know for sure, but we assume he's going to opt out. We have Xander Bogaerts, who, yeah, we hate him on the Red Sox, but it'll be an Andrew Benintendi situation. If
he's a garbage, he's a garbage fielder though.
Yeah,
sick hitter, but horrible fielder.
And then Trey Turner, who would obviously be the best. And hey, like we can be the Yankees and spend all that money to get one, but that's a conversation for the offseason.
Yeah,
we'll have offseason episodes.
We'll cover that then.
Yeah.
So now, boys, I want to talk about the Astros now. So, okay, so Danny's already rolling his eyes, he's shaking his head. So me and Brian, just to give you guys some
heated
context. When the Yankees were playing the Astros the other day in that doubleheader, me and Brian were not feeling so hot. We were like, the Yankees can't beat this team. They'll never beat the Astros. Brian, what do you have to say? I mean, I'll let you speak for yourself.
I mean, this is probably a rare time where all three of us don't agree on something. As you were saying, like me and you were on one side, Dan's on the other side. I think the Astros are just better than us. It's simply
that's not even the argument though. That
argument?
Wasn't the argument. You said that the Yankees absolutely cannot beat the Astros. They're so much better than us in all facets, which isn't true if you look at numbers throughout
I don't think I ever said that.
We're better. You said we cannot beat the Astros, and we will not be able to beat the Astros.
They're better than us in all facets. I don't know if I said that.
You said that they're better than us, yes, and we can't do anything.
I just said, yeah, they are better.
Currently, right
everything.
Now,
but if you look at numbers, I just looked at it before this. We're higher than them in average, on base percentage, slugging percentage. Like we're better than them.
When we play them, we don't beat them.
We beat them in the season series before, and they beat us in the playoffs. So why can't it reverse this year? They beat us in the season series. It's the regular season. Aaron Boone even came out and said, come October, we're here. We're ready.
What's he going to say? Yeah, they're going to bounce us as soon as we see them.
No, but like you don't say the way you sound that,
and
those are the type of comments from a manager that rallies the team behind you. They know they've struggled against the Astros this year, so they're going to be with a chip on their shoulder in October. I want to play the Astros in October. Yes,
you're insane.
It's not going to be a cakewalk, but those are the type of series that are those are the fun series. Another good team. Like we're both really good teams.
You're right. They are fun. They've been fun for the Astros every year because they just beat us.
The fact that you guys are saying that we can't beat them, actually, it honestly, it upsets me. I'm upset. I'm disappointed in you guys because if you look, you say we can't hit their pitching. Not many teams can hit the Astros pitching. But not many teams.
Where does that get you? But where does that get you, though? Where does that get you?
I don't care about us in comparison to other teams against them. They beat us like almost every time.
Yes, but they haven't hit our pitching either. We've lost.
We still find ways to lose.
Okay, but exactly. But they've all been close games. We're in every game. Like you guys checked out of the 7-2 game, but we had the tying run up in the 9th. We had the tying run. We came back down, and we out hit them in that last game of the doubleheader. We out hit them. But if you want to look at hits, we out hit them, and it's the runs. The runs the Astros scored against us this year. 6 in the first game in New York. But we won that game, so that's null and void. All right, that's the saying. 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, 7, but we also scored 5 and had the tying run up. Like, they're not hitting us either.
You could talk about that, but like they just find ways to win against us. I mean, we even rally back.
Found ways.
You get the rare Isaiah Conner-Fleff a 25 hopper that sneaks into the outfield, and then they still manage to lose that game after that.
I mean, they win on a
JJ Matijevic.
They win.
Like,
listen, when it's a tied game in the 9th, like their pitching was good. They shut us down, but we know we could hit. Yes, it's going to be tough to hit them. It is going to be tough. I'm not saying it's like we're going to go in there and beat them easily, but those are the series that are fun. Like we have a chip on their shoulder. I want to go to Houston and I want to punch them in the face, and I want to knock them out for a change. I want that revenge, especially after the regular season. Like last year, we're looking at, we won the season series, but then come play. I know we didn't verse them in the playoffs, but they made it further. So they beat us because they made it further. But I would love to play Houston, go into Houston. Honestly, we could win at Yankee Stadium, obviously, but go into Houston, punch them in the mouth, say, that was the regular season. This is October. We're going to beat you. And plus, we both all agreed that we're not going to be the same team we are now come playoffs. We all said that. We all agreed that we're going to make moves. So we're not going to be the same team. We're going to have an extra pitcher. We're going to have an extra hitter. It's going to be a different team. And honestly, I still don't think we need that to beat them. I mean, they won the season series, yeah, but think about what
As
we
currently
have to do.
constructed, the Yankees can't beat them. It's that
We
simple.
went to Houston for one game and then had to go back up to New York. One, that's bullshit. That is so difficult to do. For one game, you're just going to Houston for one game. We lost 2-1. Still a close game. They couldn't hit us. We couldn't hit them because their pitching is good. Then a doubleheader right out of the All-Star break. Again, you have to play 2 games in Houston for one day and then go right back up to Baltimore. Like those are tough situations for a team to go through. They didn't get into Baltimore the next day till like 3 a.m. They didn't get to Houston the day they had the one game till late. So they've really been put in bad situations, and they're still close games. Yeah, we're hitting, I think it was 151 against the Astros, but they haven't hit against us either. They have
Is
not
that
hit
true?
against, they have not scored.
I didn't
They
even
have
know
not
that.
scored
That makes me
against
feel
us.
even worse. I
Yeah,
didn't even
me
know
too.
that.
Yeah, they've hit 151 against the Astros this season. But
Dude.
they can't hit us either. They cannot score against us either. That's the thing. They have not scored against us
The
all year.
Yankees,
And
the
when they
Yan-
have, we won, except for the 7 games they put up. We had 5.
but like Brian keeps saying, they find ways to win.
And the Yankees could find ways to win too. It's just
But they
when it gets
haven't.
to late in the game, it's that one big hit. It's the one. Why can't
The
Judge get
Yankees
that
never
one
get the big
hit?
hits in Houston ever. For the last 6 years, they never get the big hits ever.
Even
Isn't
when
this
they
team
do, it's
different? How many
immediately
times have you said this team is different this year? How many times have you said it? How many times have both of you said this team is different?
That's
This
the
team
only
is
thing.
different. This team is different until it comes to the Houston Astros.
Yes.
That's how I'll say it.
They are
The
still our
fact that you're
kryptonite.
saying
You
that we
could tell.
can't beat a team, the Astros got the better of us in the regular season.
Right
yes.
now, currently on July 25th, Monday, July 25th, as currently the Yankees are constructed, the Yankees cannot beat the Houston
I
Astros.
disagree.
They can.
I disagree. They were close games. They're close. You got to look at it's not like we're getting blown out by them. Again, it's two very good teams. What I was trying to say, it's 2 very good teams. You're not going to win every single game against a good team. They didn't win every single game against us. We beat them in the season series last year. Hey, it's their turn to beat us in the season series. But what matters is October, and it's a whole different ball game. Like, they were close games. It's not like they were blowing us out. We couldn't hit them. They couldn't score against us. It was basically the same, like just good games, and they got the better of us in the end. It happens. It's the regular season, but come October, the Yankees have a chip on their shoulder, especially with a with new piece on their team. Yankees have a chip on their shoulder. They want to beat the Astros. They know that, and they're going to go into that series with a little extra edge.
I'm sorry, I disagree, but we've been saying that they've had that extra edge since 2017 when we found out that the cheating scandal happened. They still can't figure it
We
out.
didn't find out till the cheating scandal happened until before the 2020 season. So that was after 2019 when we lost.
So
them.
that
We
yeah, but in
lost them
2019,
2019.
But in
We didn't know that-
2019, we were saying that they have the chip on their shoulder because they lost in 2017 when they should have won. When they lost
is
2
this team
straight.
not different?
Huh?
Is this team not different? Like you keep saying. Like you've said all
sure.
season.
Are they different? Sure they are, but they're not different against the Houston Astros.
I disagree because these were close games, and it happens. I'd rather them beat us in the regular season, because what happens a lot of the times. I know it has nothing to do with one another in the grand scheme, but if you think about it, we win the season series in October. It's different.
I truly am confident that the Yankees can go toe to toe with any team in all of Major League Baseball except for Houston. I don't think they can be Houston.
That just disappoints me. That is actually disappointing to me that you guys say that and think
And look,
that.
I hope I'm wrong.
We
I
lost
hope
2
to
games
God
in
I'm
doubleheader
wrong.
in Houston. We got 1 day to go to Houston and play a doubleheader. That is hard to do, and we were still in both of the games. They were still close games, and we had a chance to win both of those games. It just didn't happen in the end.
Excuses, just beat
the
them.
excuse. Just accept it.
It's not. We will beat them in October. That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
we will
let's
beat
see.
them in October.
Let's
we
have
will.
this conversation again in
And
October.
we can.
then.
Saying that we absolutely cannot beat them is blasphemy.
We
That's
haven't.
blasphemous.
When have we beat them?
Last year we won the season series against them. We won the season series in the regular season against them
You
last
just
year.
said
Who
the regular season
cares?
doesn't matter.
But you guys are saying it does matter. Like
The
that's what I'm
2021
trying to
Yankees
say.
suck,
So
and
you're
they
saying we
didn't
can't
even
win.
make it past
You're
the
saying we
wild card
can't
game.
beat them off a regular season series in which the games were close and we weren't completely outmatched by them. We weren't completely outmatched. As much as it feels like we were because we couldn't hit, I'm sure the Astros fans during those games were like, "Oh, come on, can we score runs here?" Like, yeah, they're happy because they end up winning in the end, but they can't score either.
But that's
And
the,
I know
that's the
Astros
problem.
fans
That's the
during
problem.
game-
Though the Astros always find a way to beat the Yankees. The Yankees can never find the way to beat the Astros. That's the
Listen,
problem.
They've
Again,
knocked
we
us
haven't
out.
seen that since 2019 in the playoffs when it really matters. We haven't seen that since 2019, and this team is so much different from 2019. So let's wait and let's see in the playoffs. But basing it off of a regular season series where we lost 5 out of 7, you shouldn't be saying we can't beat them come playoff times because of the regular season series. If last year we literally won the season series against them, like you can't base it on regular season stats. If you're saying projecting for the playoffs, you cannot.
But you're the one that's basing it off of regular season stats.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
I'm saying we could win.
You were saying we have them in batting average and on base percentage and all these
I
numbers.
meant head to head. But you're saying they're such a much better team than us, but the numbers don't back that up based on that. That was that argument. But in terms of us beating them, playoffs, we will. And I want Houston. I want Houston to best.
How would you feel about potentially going to Houston for a game 1 again, Cole versus Verlander? How do you feel about that? Let me just ask.
Confident. Put my ace on the mound. Get my ace on the mound. We could beat any team.
You're confident at a game in a game 1 in Houston,
yes.
Cole versus
our
Verlander.
ace on the mound.
Justin
yes.
Verlander, who's
yes,
has
I'm
like
confident.
a
Again, I'm gonna have confidence in this team. This team is so good. I'm gonna have confidence going up against anyone.
He has like a .6 ERA in his last like 9 starts.
Okay.
And the Yankees have never been able
Again,
to hit.
in a game like that, that's what I'm saying. In a game like that, all it takes is 2 runs to win that type of game. And the Yankees are capable of scoring 2 runs. You get to their bullpen. The Yankees, look, it was flipped. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they were showing it on the Yes Network. The Astros against our starting pitching, had their batting average was above 400. Against our relief pitching, their batting average was under 200. Or no, the ERA. No, wait, shit. The starting pitching ERA, for the Yankees is above 400 against the Astros, but their bullpen ERA is under 2. For the Astros, it's flipped. We couldn't hit their starting pitching, but we've been mashing against their relief
starting pitching's everything in playoffs. You know that.
I mean, well, we've seen in recent years that starting pitchers have a very short leash. And again, it could just take 1 home run from Judge off Verlander, which we know he could do. And maybe Cole lets up a run. Now it's 1-1 into the 7th when the bullpens are coming in, and the Yankees have that advantage. If we're close in the game when the bullpen comes in, the Yankees have a chance. And honestly, I mean, they have a chance no matter what. Like, no matter what, they have a chance. But especially, again, like you said, in the playoffs, starting pitchers, everything, when we have Cole, he'll be our ace. Verlander will be their ace. Yeah, I'm not expecting us to completely blow them out, but we're going to hold our own. It's going to be a close game. I could see a 1-1 game in the 8th, and the bullpens are coming in, and we get the better of their bullpen. That's what I see in that game 1.
You're talking about our same ace that just went to Fenway and shit the bed last year and our season ended. No offense to Garrett Cole, but listen, they've knocked us out 2 of the last 4 years. This is the best that team's been since 5 years, but Altuve owns us. Bregman owns us. The entire pitching staff owns us. I'm not
the entire starting pitching.
Don't forget about Kyle Tucker.
Yeah,
starting
Kyle Tucker.
About Brantley.
The starting pitching on the.
We all said like this team is different. I still agree with that. But in the one way they look the same is like against the Astros this year. We've run through the entire league besides them and the Cincinnati Reds. But besides
the Astros are one of, and like you guys said, if not the best teams in the league. They're one of the best teams in the league. And they were all close games. And in the regular season, that's what happens. One team comes away with the close games. And it just wasn't us. It could have been us, but it wasn't us. And again, don't bring up 2019, don't bring up 2017, because those are different teams. It just didn't happen. We just didn't come away with the close win games. But in the playoffs, it's a different animal. We have a chip on our shoulder. They beat us. We know they beat us. And we're going to go in, punch them in the mouth, beat them. Because no team I think, is knocking out the Astros. So it will be, if we want to make the World Series, we will have to go to the Astros. And I wouldn't want it any other way. I want to beat the Astros. I want to see the Astros walking off the field sad.
I mean, do I want to see that? Do I want to see that? Yes, but I don't want to see the Astros in the playoffs. I don't want to see it.
I mean, obviously, I would rather the Blue Jays beat them and we get an easier series to the World Series, but I want us to get the opportunity to beat the Astros.
Look, Danny, I respect your fight. I respect it. But this argument won't conclude until October. So we'll find out then.
Well, and even if which they won't, I have 100% confidence in the Yankees in a 7-game series against the Astros. But again, even if they do beat us in 6 games and 7 games, again, it's just 2 really good teams that go against each other.
No, if they knock us out again, no.
Oh yeah, it would suck. But like it also
that's been the Yankees. That's been the Yankees' problem for the last 5 years. Is that it's always
satisfied with close.
Exactly. Boom was like we were really close. We were really close. We will beat them.
But it's what happens when you go against good teams. Like these games in the regular season, it's what happens. Like it sucks we didn't win. But hey, it could prove to be good that we didn't win the season series because again, we go into Houston in the playoffs with a chip on our shoulder, not wanting to feel that same defeat. Like Jeter said, don't forget about your losses, use them, and never want to feel it again. Little Jeter doc quote right there.
Yeah, dude. The Jeter docs. When is the next episode, by the way? Is it
Thursday?
Every Thursday? Is it
So
every
weird.
Thursday?
They
I think
had
there's
the
two on Thursday.
Yeah,
I think
there's two
episodes
on
3 and
Thursday.
4 on Thursday. Sorry.
Yeah, Thursday.
Oh.
But they had kind of annoying. They had the 2 episodes in 3 days, and then we have to wait a whole week for the next one.
The Jeter doc is so good.
It's so good. I mean, we might be biased because that is my childhood at least.
He was
Bryan
never
and
satisfied with close though. Never.
That's true.
And we're not satisfied with close either. Like
You keep talking about how they were all close games. I don't give a fuck. We
in
didn't
the
win.
regular season, but we will go into the playoffs and beat them.
We won't know until October, so we'll leave it at that. But I will send.
Not my
I will end
Bible.
off with this final note, and I'll ask you both this question. I think I already know your answer, Danny, but I'll ask you, Danny, first, and then I'll ask Brian. So, do you think that the Yankees currently can beat the Astros in a 7-game set
Yes.
with this
100%.
current roster?
Yes, but
No changes made.
But will they go into the playoffs with the same current roster? No. But yes, I think they can beat them.
Okay, Brian, what do you think?
It's tough because like on paper I think like we are better, but just knowing how they like just falter against the Astros, no, I think we're gonna lose in a series like that right now.
I agree. I agree with you, Brian. I think they need a hitter that can hit good pitching.
And that's the thing; they will get that. That's what I'm projecting October with a new person on this team. But even if we don't, I still think we can beat them because it's not like they crush our pitching. It's not like they do.
Also, keep in mind if the Yankees acquire Benintendi, I mean, he has the most World Series experience on the roster. So,
Yeah.
and the entire lineup besides
And
out of
Benintendi,
anyone on the roster.
honestly, Benintendi could be that guy. He doesn't provide a lot of power, but he is gonna hit. He's gonna hit and get
So-
on base. He's gonna hit and get on base.
It remains to be seen. It's an interesting question, but if we're looking ahead towards the next couple of days, the Yankees have the Mets in Queens this week. So game 1 is going to be Montgomery versus Taijuan Walker.
That's a win.
And then game 2 is going to be Domingo Germán versus Max Scherzer.
Mingo.
That's another win.
That's
We don't care about no Mad Max.
so that's
We
very
are
scary.
to the New York Mets what the Houston Astros are to us. That's what I'll say.
That's
I'm
actually
flipped now.
also
This
not
is
true.
sweet.
I don't want to defend the Mets here, but you leave me no choice.
You love
Mets-
the Mets. You love them so much.
I despise the Mets. I hate them very much, but I actually could give credit where credit's due, unlike you, Brian. But the Mets have gotten the better of us in the regular season for the past how many ever years. They always beat us in the regular season. They just do. They win the season series against us all the time. And Brian, it holds true. The Mets still haven't collapsed like you said they would. Even though Brian actually texted in our group chat that the
This guy loves
Braves are a
talking about
half
the Mets,
game out.
Brian.
Half game out. But Brian was wrong. But they didn't collapse. And no, I hate the Mets. But again, I can actually give credit where credit's due.
You
And
love
you cannot.
the Mets.
You cannot give
So
credit
let's-
where credit's due.
let's-
You're just a fucking bitch.
You love the Mets.
Let's
You're just
finish
a
off.
bitch.
Let's finish off with a couple series predictions. So let's go through. Okay, so split, sweep, Yankees lose 0-2. What do you guys have?
They're gonna win
We're,
both.
we're sweeping. We're sweeping.
Okay, so 2 sweeps. I'm gonna say they split.
I mean, we're obvious. I'm not gonna go in saying we lose in 2 games. We're winning both.
what is the X factor for this series?
I mean, it's hard to pick anybody else, but that's not Aaron Judge.
I'm gonna say the X factor is gonna be Carpy.
Carpy. All right.
Carpy and Queens, lighting it up.
All right. I just don't want to see.
If he plays, of course. He might not play, but if he plays.
I don't
Um,
want to see a Pete Alonso home run.
Donaldson.
That's.
is
I
mine.
think. Donaldson's
That's a
a good
good
one.
pick.
I think Pete Alonso is my least favorite player in the league. I hate him so much.
Oh,
I hate him.
Brian used to love
I know.
I did. I used to love him.
Bear
'cause
Pete.
I loved him in college, and then he just came
Yeah,
up here
I mean-
and just became a tool.
I usually love the Florida boys. My uncle or my second uncle is the head coach for the Florida Gators. So I usually love the guys coming from Florida. Love Jonathan India. He's my boy.
I think the only thing that I
But
love
Pete Alonso sucks.
the only thing that I love about Pete Alonso is the home run derby memes that we get every year.
I don't actually
Last
know.
year-
Idiot.
Yeah.
Last year we got the meme where he was dancing when the kid was getting carted off the field. The little kid was getting carted
Yeah,
off the field.
dude.
And this year we got the meditation memes and the deadlifting memes. In which, oh, it's so funny.
I
Similar
don't
to
actually
last
know
year, I
Jonathan
feel
India
like-
or even
I
know
feel
my
like
uncle. But
I feel like the tensions are going to be high. We might see some like something. That's why I say
Really, a
Donaldson.
little bit of rivalry like that.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
oh,
why I say
okay.
Donaldson too, because he's going to play a big role in that probably. And we saw it last year even without
yeah.
Donaldson. And I
Lindor and
think
Stanton.
yeah, and I think this year, I mean, both teams are at the top of their leagues. Like this is the best they've both been at the same time in a really long time. So I think something's going to boil over. It's going to be fun.
Fun times.
That gets me excited. Danny, did you give your X factor for the series? Oh, you said Judge. You said Judge.
Yeah, but that's not really an X factor. That's kind of just like an obvious. I'll say, let's go Mingo. Mingo's got it. Mingo's got to show us something. I'm a big proponent in putting Mingo in the bullpen. I don't know if he should really be a starter anymore.
He literally sucks.
He got shelled in Houston.
He should be DFA'd
probably
by
be a
now.
bullpen. He should probably be a long relief guy.
Him and Chapman should be in jail. So
Well,
for reasons on and off the field.
what was I going to say about
that
that?
Instagram comment is
Throwing out Domingo Germán against Max Scherzer is criminal. That's criminal.
you don't
Aaron
really
Boone
have
should
anybody
be-
else to throw out there.
Aaron
He's
Boone
our
should-
fifth
Clark,
man.
I would trust Clark more honestly.
Aaron Boone should
That
be
is-
put in jail for that.
With Severino down though, we're choosing to go with Domingo over Clark or JP Sears.
Which makes no sense. Sears is good, bro. Sears finds a way to get outs. He does when he starts. In his starts, he finds a way to get outs. Like he came in that one game, I think, for Tyone when Tyone came out early, and he like really labored and pitched really well.
You know, speaking of the Jeter doc, did you guys see? I've seen this. Yeah, I know. Speaking of before, but I'm just thinking about these possible fights I was getting excited for. But I remember seeing that video a while
Darryl
ago.
Strawberry.
I saw it again. Yeah, when they came out and pushed the Orioles back to their own dugout, like that's what I want to see.
Yeah, dude.
That
And
was
the
the
interviews
thing.
for that, if anybody hasn't watched the Jeter doc, go watch it. It is awesome. But I'm sure anybody listening to this has, because whatever. But the fact Benitez, he's calling for the Yankees to come out, and you love the interview. He's like, he picked the wrong group of guys to say that to, and then you see him come out with the sucker punch right to the side of the face. Like, oh, it's so awesome.
Darryl
The
Strawberry's
Yankees
like
literally drove them back into their own dugout.
Yes.
They were like the Yankees were like beating on them in their own dugout. Like that is so.
Yes.
That's what I want to see.
And we saw that in the Tyler Austin fight, but it wasn't us beating them to the Red Sox dugout. It was basically just Aaron Judge playing peacemaker and dragging them to the dugout. We don't want that. We want punches thrown. We want us beating them to their
That's
dugout.
gonna ruin Judge's MVP
Thinking-
campaign. It'll be like a 20-game suspension.
Yeah, no.
Thinking
We
about
don't
these-
need to throw punches. We'll beat them on the field, but it will be fun to see. Like we always say, we don't root for violence, but it'll be fun to see. It would be fun to see.
Thinking about these fights really makes me miss CC because CC, I
Yeah.
always used to love CC. I think I don't know. I think it was the fight against the Detroit Tigers when they were all with the Miguel Cabrera Austin Romine fight when CC was like in the middle of the pack and he was just like laughing the whole time while everyone's like tempers are flaring, the bullpen's running out. It makes me miss CC a lot.
Sabathia lost a $500,000 bonus because the Rays hit one of the Yankees. I forget who it was. They hit one of the Yankees, and CC Sabathia needed one more inning pitch to get $500,000. But CC came back into the next inning, hit the first batter of the Rays, looked at their dugout, and was like, "That one's for you, bitch," and then walked off the field knowing he's gonna get thrown out.
Fire.
And
There's
I think they ended up
nobody
giving
on the
him that
Yankees
bonus anyway,
roster.
just because.
The only guy that I could see having that kind of energy is Donaldson. But I don't even think he would have that energy.
Anymore, ever since the Jackie thing.
The Yankees don't have that fight, that fuck you anymore. You know, they don't
I think
have
they do. I
that.
think Judge and Stanton both do.
They do.
I don't know if
I
they
mean,
would do anything physical, but
I even see. I mean, there's got to be other stuff that happened against the Red Sox. I think it was. I forget who got hit. Someone got hit with the pitch. I think it was Rizzo got hit, and they weren't even trying to show Judge in the
Yeah.
dugout. But you see the background. Judge is screaming at the pitcher like, Judge wants it, and we saw it go back to the beginning of the season in Judge's walk-off game. He wanted Manoah. He wanted to come out there and.
I do have a dark horse Yankees Mets fight MVP though. If I can say that.
Let's hear it. Who do you got?
Kyle Harris, Higashioka.
Oh my god, no.
Kyle Harris.
Dude, when
Absolutely
they almost got a
not.
fight before and you see him in the dugout, fucking bitch.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's him. He's
That's
got-
right. That's right.
He doesn't care. He doesn't play
You know
anyway.
who's always jawing too? Last year we saw it when he was coming up on the dugout going like this with the Stanton Lindor fight in Queens. Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole loves to jaw at people. It's so great. Like
I
last
don't know.
year,
Would he actually do anything?
he was on the top step last year going like this, and then like once he saw them talking while Stanton was rounding the bases, he was the first guy off the top stoop of the dugout running on the field.
I do want to see. I want to see a nice brawl. Yankees Mets brawl.
Well,
think
you
Carpy
can't
would
you
just,
can
like,
never
meditate.
predict a brawl. I mean, why?
I'm kidding about the brawl, but I want to see tensions high. I want to see tensions.
They
high.
will be.
Yeah, I agree.
And I want to see a win when the tensions are high. Last year, that Lindor loss.
Well,
true.
that is true.
That was one of the
The
worst
Yankees-
losses I've ever.
Yankees
Yankees
never
are-
win beef games.
Yeah.
So maybe
that's
we
true.
don't want the tensions to be high.
Yeah, I
If
mean,
we-
last year that I can't think of. I mean, the Altuve walk-off homer. No, I'm not talking playoffs. The one before the All-Star game last year. But I can't remember like a regular season loss that stung so bad when Lindor hit the walk-off home run, his third home run of the game after the
Well,
beef.
Oh my god, dude! And all the fans were dancing on the dugout with Puerto Rican flags and
Yeah.
they were just going insane. Is that where he's from? Puerto Rico?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was wild. That was devastating. Was that the 9/11 game? I think it was, right?
They were wearing black, I think. No, they weren't. No.
Well, this year, I
think
mean,
so.
this
I think
year,
it was early.
Frankie Lindor doesn't have his butt buddy Javi Baez, so
That's true.
Yeah, that is true.
who knows what's gonna happen there.
Gotta hate Pete Alonso.
So that's I think that's all I got. Anyone else?
Yeah, kind of went off the rails there, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fine. We'll see what happens.
We probably could have been done like 25 minutes ago, but
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Anyways,
Go
Fun
Yanks.
ti- Fun,
Go
fun
Yanks.
times. Go Yankees.
thank you all for listening. Thank you.
Oh, and
all.
also the Yankees not playing tonight. That sucks. I hate that. Makes me
I
upset.
agree.
It makes me upset.
they
But
never play Mondays really.
Yeah, but it's like 2 nights in a row.
It's
Two nights
still-
in a row without them because it was a day game yesterday. It just doesn't feel right.
I mean, that is a lot of
That's
times
true.
how it worked, but still, like, I still don't like the Yankees not playing. They play next Monday, though. We'll be there.
Oh, that's right.
We will be there
Next
next
time,
Monday.
next
Brian
time we're
can't come,
talking.
unfortunately,
Why not?
Because you said no.
because you said no.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did.
hopefully next Monday when we're there, we got Juan Soto playing left field.
I'm broke. I need the pod to take off. So if you're
Yeah.
if you're listening, you interact with us for my sake.
We want ads.
Yeah, we need
What?
it.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you to our. I was looking at the numbers the other day. We have a consistent like 20 listeners. So whoever you are, thank you for listening.
We thanked them last week, too.
Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spreading the News and on Twitter at official STN Pod. Make sure to sub to us on YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure to like the video. It helps us out a lot. Make sure to drop a subscribe. And that's all I've got. This has been Chase.
Brian.
Annie, go Yanks.
Let's go Yanks, baby. Woo!